Welcome back, everyone. What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Everybody Eats show. The weather's warm here in Virginia. I'm in a good mood today. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So it's been a good couple of days. So we got a really good episode for you guys today. So returning right from episode 43 is Miss Jaylyn Brown. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me again. This is going to be fun.
Appreciate it, no doubt. So if you didn't listen to episode 43 originally, I think we dropped that this past summer, right? So we had a great episode talking about JB agency and your come up story and then everything that you do, right? So it was a real dope episode. So if you haven't listened to it, make sure you go back. But the other day, or I guess it's been a couple of weeks, I guess, or a month or so now, I saw that you had a book, and I was like, oh, you need to have her back. We need to talk about. Go get your rice. Gotta go get your rice. But I was like, yo, you got a book, so we gotta get you back. So appreciate you for returning.
Yeah, it has been an interesting couple of months. A lot of people, actually the majority of people, had no idea that I was writing a book, and so I just released it. It hasn't even been a month yet, this past Valentine's Day, but it has been quite the journey. A very fun, a very new journey for me, but a journey nonetheless.
Sure. So definitely excited to talk about that because I know for myself, I definitely want to write one in the future. I guess my thing is like I never know or don't know what I want to talk about, right? So
Okay.
One thing I heard is like, oh, always keep the end in mind. So I kind of been thinking like, what do I want to write about? But I will one day, eventually.
Yes, yes.
So definitely excited. So quickly before we officially start, for anyone watching us on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. You definitely want to make sure you're subscribed and have those notifications on for when we drop new content. New content comes out every week. We either have a new episode or we're doing current event episodes. So make sure that you're following us on YouTube. That's Everybody Eats Show. And for social media, Instagram, everybodyeats.pod on Instagram, EBE pod on Twitter. And of course, you can listen to us anywhere you listen. Find, stream podcasts. We're on there, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that jazz. So gotta make sure you subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. So on that note, let's start. So could you briefly introduce yourself for anyone who hasn't listened to our episode, the previous episode? So briefly introduction, who you are, what do you do, and then we'll get conversation started.
Yes, of course. So my name is Jaylyn Brown. I am the CEO and founder of the JB Agency. At the JB Agency, we specialize in PR, events, marketing, and community development. So if you've seen me before or worked with me before or gotten an email from me before, it has probably been because of one of those things that I specialize in, or, a client that, we may have worked with together. And I'm originally from Havre de Grace, Maryland. However, I have called Hampton Roads home now for a decade. So I guess I'm an honorary Virginian for sure. I do have a Virginia ID. So that is a little bit about me, where I'm from, and of course, now I am a published author, which is a fun thing to say.
For sure. So, this book, right? So let's get into it, right? What's the title? When did it come out? What is it about?
Yeah, so the book is She Loves You Not, and it is available on Amazon. The ebook is available on Kindle, so you can definitely get it on one of those major platforms. It's contemporary romance fiction, so I kind of got to explore my creative side a little bit that a lot of people maybe don't get to normally see. And it's just about a young adult woman. She's in her early 30s, and she's very career oriented, very driven. She's engaged. And so the only thing left to be desired is walking down the aisle, right? And on her way down the aisle, like leading up to the wedding, her fiance just tisk tisk. He keeps getting into things, having to make her kind of rethink and reevaluate, like, wow, is my relationship what I think it is? And old things and major flings start popping up back into her life. So she's kind of got to make some serious decisions about, okay, what is going to be best for my new reality here. And so it is a lot of fun to write, and having people read and review it now has also been very fun. I was super nervous at first because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what if it sucks? What if people don't like it? But honestly, the reviews have been really, really good. And so that makes me pretty, pretty happy.
That's real dope. That's real dope. So what was I guess a thought process like even starting wanting to make the book, right? Or write it down. What was that beginning to middle process?
And what pushed you? Because I feel like, if you want to write a book, like Benzie said, it's not a one-off thought. It's not like something you wake up and decide, hey, I'm gonna go write a book. So what pushed you to kind of open yourself up to that criticism and that new audience and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I think one thing to note is that I started years ago, about 7 years ago, actually. And I took a super long hiatus because I was just so focused on building my brand and my company and my clients. And I kept pushing it to the side, like, you know what, I'll get to it. It's a fun, creative passion project of mine. But I was always putting other things and other people as my priority instead of, finishing this for myself. And so late October, I hired a book coach, someone to hold me accountable and keep me accountable. And from October to late December, I was writing 6,000 words a night, like just pushing it out. And that's really what allowed me to finish, having somebody that didn't know me at all hold me accountable, give me homework every night to make sure that this is something that I could do. And that really was pretty much it for me. I mean, I knew that I always wanted to be an author at some point. I didn't know exactly when that would happen for me. But now that it's actually in print and I can hold it, it's kind of surreal.
Yeah. That's real dope. So when you said accountability, the first thing that comes to mind, I always say this on the show, is like how we started the podcast. Our boy Manuel Perez, I told him like, yo, I want to start the podcast, and he was like, yo, you have to put your first episode next week, right? And it was like holding me accountable, right? So I always, when I heard that, that's the first thing I went back to, because it was a real similar. Someone puts a challenge on you, and then all of a sudden now that fire or that, yeah, now it becomes real. So now you for real do it.
I think something people do a lot is and I'm sure I catch myself doing this a lot, but you say something and you say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then people just kind of forget about it. And then I feel like a lot of people forget that you said it, you can't take it back. And chances are, depending on how good a friend that person is, I know in my case, like a lot of people will say certain things and I'll notice they've never done it. So to me, it's kind of like, all right, you said it. It's not something you can take back now, if that makes sense.
And
it's not,
that's
I
like
can
super
unhear
scary. Like I'm the type of person where I really don't like to make an announcement about something until it's complete, until it's finished, just because, you want to avoid that kind of embarrassment or disappointment that you may have, put on somebody else by saying out loud, hey, I'm going to do this, and then it doesn't get done. And of course, life happens, emergencies happen that sometimes delay the process, but I was not even finished writing before my book coach had me announce to the world, like, oh, hey, pre-sale is ready. Go ahead and order your book. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? She was like, yeah, it'll be fine. You can do it. And I was like, but I'm not finished.
Drop the trailer before the movie's done. Let's go.
Right. Yeah, that is exactly what happened. So I totally get it. I totally get how people, sometimes want to keep their, what do they say? Actually, I think Lil Wayne says it. I'm gonna quote him real quick. Real G's move in silence like
Yes, sir.
lasagna. So I get it, wanting to kind of keep things to yourself until you can actually say, here, I did it. But making that announcement held me accountable like never before, because I felt like, okay, wow, all of these people know about it. Now I have no choice but to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. And that's crazy because I was listening to some podcasts this week and they're talking about accountability groups. And I feel like I've heard of them before, but for some reason, I don't know, it kind of just like clicked in my head this time. Like, that's a really dope idea, having an accountability group. People just, again, in the same scenario, you have an idea, hey, I want to do this, and just people to remind you, hey, how's it going? How's it coming along?
Yeah,
You know?
those are people who aren't afraid to check you and are listening. They definitely are listening. Everything you say, like, it's not like you're just talking to talk. They're there. Like they made note of that and they want you to do better. So that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe uh develop that some of it. I don't know, but I do like that. I do like that idea because again, I that's what's helped this podcast. So it has a personal, that type of accountability relationship. It has like a personal attachment to myself. So we'll see how that sprouts out. But that's real awesome. Making that. So how was it, I guess, like at the finish line, right? Like you said that you put out the fact that you have the book, you put out the preset orders before you actually finish writing. So what was it like leading up to the end and then right after, like in terms of marketing it and doing all that? Because I feel like that, to me, that's like the nervous part of it. Because again, right, if I were to write a book, the first thing is like, yo, what if it's trash? Like, I don't want to be like, hey, buy my book, and people like, yo, I want to read this. Like, it will hurt. So how, like, being open to that type of criticism and that, how, I'm sure that was a little nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah, so the end was definitely, to me, more stressful than anything. A lot of people say, oh, well, the hard part is writing. That wasn't hard for me. It was the publishing process, picking out everything down to the color of the ink and the color of the pages and the size that it should be, and deciding, okay, how am I going to market it on this day? How am I going to get it distributed this day? Like, there were so many things that were new to me that I had to learn immediately in order to make the launch of it a success. So definitely it was incredibly stressful, but it was like I had no choice. I had to get it done. And when you're in those sort of positions, it's just like, you don't complain, you don't cry to anybody, you just kind of boss up and do what you have to do to make sure that you're getting something accomplished, especially because it's a representative of you, it's a reflection of you, and you want people to always maybe identify with something that's professional, something that is going to be on time, something that always breeds positivity. So it was extremely nerve-wracking. And I will say, though, it all went very fast. Like, I never had a moment where I could just sit back and say, okay, like, I'm done. Like, I haven't had that moment yet, because it's just been, one thing after another, sort of like on a virtual book tour and doing, speaking engagements and book club talks. And so I really haven't had that moment yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
Soon come, soon come. So
Just like we talk about in designing, we mentioned this before. The hardest part isn't the designing; it's the steps afterwards that you're not used to doing as much. I feel
Right.
or stuff you don't know as much. Like I said, the publishing, the color of the ink, the size. I'm pretty sure that you have to pick the book cover, so you have to make that look appealing, or however that works. So it's always those parts that you don't think about the most. So
Right.
for sure. But hey, now it's done. So hope that continues to bless you. And one of the best things about a book is that no matter how long you live, that book can always make you money.
it's immortalized. Yeah.
It's immortalized. So no matter, it's not like, like from 50 years from now, people still want to buy the book. You're still making bread off that book, and you still have that in circulation. So that's real awesome. So
I'm sure it's a little too early to ask, but
I've been asked it all.
Oh, is there possibly another book coming, part 2?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I have had quite a few people kind of like on me, like, okay, I mean, I'm ready. And I'm like, it hasn't been a month. You just happened to read it early. Like, so I mean, yes, I'm working on it. Definitely by next February it will be out, but I really want to make sure I give, all of my energy to this first one, before I turn my focus into the next, just because it was a really hard working sort of thing for me to do, while running a business and being in a pandemic and all of these other things that we go through daily. So yes, a second one is coming, but not tomorrow.
When you publish it on Amazon, I heard there's like I think like self-publishing where you create like your own
ISBN.
ISBN number, so you get like all the royalties and stuff like that. Is that like what you have to do that too?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that process is a little like, I don't know, is that like easy or confusing? I don't remember what I heard, but
It can be easy if you have somebody, guiding you through that knows about it. I can see how it would be confusing if somebody was doing it on their own.
yeah.
But I mean, I learned a lot about Amazon too. Like with Amazon, they only pay you once every 60 days.
Wait.
So yeah.
Even wait, so even if you're self-published or but like they still
Yep.
oh
Yeah. So they take gosh, did they take 40%? They take a pretty large percentage, and they only pay you once every 60 days.
wow.
So it's very beneficial, which I also have is my own website to
I saw
sell through. Yeah, but of course, people are looking to get it right away. Prime is unmatched, but if you are, willing to USPS or whatever, people can always buy through my website.
I was gonna say, so if you do it to your website, is that you physically like shipping it out, or do you have like
Yep.
a warehouse or?
Nope,
Okay.
that's me physically. So I try to like keep a certain amount in stock, from the printing place that I use. And when people order it, I'm able to see who it is. I'm able to, personalize it, sign it, that sort of thing. Whereas with Amazon, I don't even see who the order's from. It just says, like an order number.
All right, I'm ready.
Got it. Okay. But yeah, all right. So segment 2 with that quote of the day. When you're ready.
All right. Segment 2 starting in 3, 2, 1. So the quote of the day, everybody. Figuring out what are you looking?
No.
You cheater. All right. So figuring out what you want to be is the easy part. Figuring out who you are is the hard part.
Oh.
That's deep. I don't know.
All right. So hints, I really think he was cheating. No, but really. This person they're 42 years old. They're a famous podcaster. Radio talk show host, and internet or podcaster.
Joe Budden?
No, close though. There we go.
Is it a man or a woman?
Man.
Joe Rogan.
No.
Okay, say it one more time.
Okay, so give me a second. Figuring out what you want to be is the easy part. Figuring out who you are is the hardest part.
Gosh, I know that I've heard that before.
Podcaster is 42 years old. He has 2 podcast shows.
Charlamagne?
Yeah.
Really?
I couldn't. Hey, I heard him say it. I don't know if he was quoting someone else. I was kind of zoning in and out on that episode, but I remember him saying that, and it kind of stuck out to me.
Okay, Charlamagne.
It wasn't on Breakfast Club. He has another one with Andrew Schultz, Brilliant Idiots.
Brilliant Idiots.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So, but it wasn't Andrew Schultz on that episode. It was Mouse Jones filling in for him. So
Shout out
to Mouse Jones. Yep.
Alumni, all-star
All
Mouse
star.
Jones.
Yeah.
For sure. But nah, that's deep. That's deep. Um, it's like I don't know. I think of like the kid analogy, or just thinking as a kid, or when I grow up, I want to be this, right? Like I remember I went through a bunch of phases. I was like, I want to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a firefighter. There was one point I wanted to be a pizza delivery dude. Like I thought that was the coolest.
You
job
saw a
ever.
Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I think I saw Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, I want to deliver pizza. Like that's what I want to be when I grow up. So, but obviously you went through like a bunch of things that I wanted to be, and then I guess I really experienced it in college, where initially when I first went to college, I wanted to be an engineer, and then I quickly realized I didn't like math or science, right? And then went to economics, which I didn't really end up liking either much. But it wasn't until it was kind of through all that you had to actually learn yourself, right? And it's kind of like self-awareness. There was what I wanted to be, and then there's what's realistic. Like, okay, that's not what your skill set is. That's not who you really are meant to be, or that's not what you're gifted at. So it's better to go or pursue what you're talented at, gifted at, what suits you better sometimes, rather than what you want to be, because that may not necessarily be your goal.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, I'm not gonna cut you off. You can.
Oh, no. I was saying the same thing. I mean, I originally thought that I wanted to get into broadcasting, doing a lot of the in front of the camera sort of situations. And then I realized how much I enjoy the player personnel side of things and the behind the scenes. So I think that just sticking with your gut, but also knowing that you can always change your mind. You can always change your path. It's never too late to start, something new is something to keep in mind. Because I think a lot of times young people have this idea that they have to choose, right away, and they've got to stick with that one thing. And that is the furthest from the truth.
Yeah. Definitely. I think it just goes to show every day, or even the more we even do this podcast, we see a lot of people who say, oh, I went into this field, but then I decided it's not what I want to do, or X, Y, and Z. And you see, I think a lot of growing up, you see all these movies and all these like cliche type things where a person's trying to figure out who they are. But there's a lot of truth to that, in the sense that I mean, we graduated college, hopefully kind of figured out what we wanted to do, but again, figuring out who you are it really sets the tone as to how everything else in your life is going to play out. If you're going to stay in your field or make the best out of it, if you're going to take up a new passion project, or whatever it be, I think knowing who you are always drives that, and will determine a lot of whether you're happy or not. It's kind of like turning off the autopilot in whatever simulation or whatever you want to call it. It's like kind of just it's self-awareness. There you go. That's the word, self-awareness. So
I was gonna say Gary Vee talks a lot about self-awareness, and at first it kind of seems. At first I didn't really get like it took me a while for me to.
It means a lot more than the word itself. I think there's so many. I don't want to cut you off again, but there's so many facets to self-awareness that I feel like everybody always references in different ways and in different times. So sorry.
No, for sure. Like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like a lot of people have gifts that they don't even know that they have, right? And I think that's the hardest part is kind of finding that. I feel like there's some talents maybe you have, but like, all right, there's not much I can do with it, right? But I feel like there's a lot of times, those talents that we have that someone else can spot for us, but it's hard for us to know ourselves or take advantage of ourselves. And then when we do, and once we know, oh, I'm good at this, I'm great at that, and knowing how to use it for good, right? Great power comes with great responsibility, whether that's a business, brand, helping other people, job, whatever, you want to do. Once you can take advantage of what your good skill set is, then, you become unstoppable.
Yeah.
Because, you're self-aware and you know who you are, and you can put yourself in positions to succeed because you can spot opportunities. So all that good stuff. If you could wrap it up, if you could say that quote one more time, and then we'll go into our final segment.
So the quote one last time is, figuring out what you want to be is the easy part. Figuring out who you are is the hard part, by Charlemagne.
Oh my God. All right. So let's take a quick minute and then we'll go into our final segment.
Charlemagne. He's
I don't know if he was referencing. I feel like he was quoting somebody else in the conversation. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't like following too hard, but when he said it, kind of really stuck out to me. Forgot what the
I mean it's
Yeah, I mean, he has 2 books, right? So.
Probably. Hey, who knows? Hey, Charlemagne. To me, Charlemagne just be saying shit sometimes. Like, saying shit.
That's what I'm saying. He is. Sometimes it's like that, but I guess sometimes he gets spit. You know what I'm saying? They say a broken clock is right twice a day, so you never know. You never know.
All the clocks at QC.
All right. So for this last segment, since it is Women's History Month and all that jazz, so I was gonna ask what you call it, if you have a role model or someone that you look up to, and why. And if you want to talk about an update in your industry for sports and how COVID has impacted that since the summer, if you have any updates on like JB Agency, we can cover that as well.
Yes, love it.
Let's do it. All good?
Yep.
All right. Segment 3, everybody eats show, starting in 3, 2. Wait, you ready? I don't want to start if you're not.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Got it. All right, segment 3, everybody eats show, starting in 3, 2, 1. All right, so for our final segment, more of a conversational piece. So last time we spoke, it was in the summer. So I know it's been a while since then, in terms of JV Agency, in terms of NFL season just wrapping up. I know you're involved with the players. NBA season's going on right now. So what's new with the agency? What's new with the industry in the sports industry for you?
So, what's really great about right now, especially in Virginia, having a doctor as a governor, is that the vaccine rollout here is pretty on point. So it looks like we are definitely going to be in position to host some of our annual, football camps and clinics that would normally occur in June, July, and early August. Now, right now, we are preparing for the NFL draft, which is 49 days away now, which is very, very exciting. But of course, this year it's not going to be as fan friendly. So just keeping an eye out for that. Basketball is kind of having a back-to-back season situation right now. So that's also really fun. But as far as some of the guys that I get to work with coming up, I can't name them just yet. But everything's going to be really, really fun, especially with the NBA players. They have, I know, right? They have some like really cool things that they're doing, clothing lines and tournaments of their own. And so I'm just really, really excited to get back to doing things in person and with groups of people, because virtual has been beneficial for a lot of industries, but for mine, it's like, I'm over it. I'm so over it.
Gotta go.
So yeah, it's just, oh my gosh, it's okay to be stuck in the house when you want to be stuck in the house, but not when you're forced to stay in the house, right? So I'm excited for what 2021 is going to bring. We're only in Q1 right now, so staying optimistic over here.
Let's go. Were you All-Star Weekend I think you said that was the one event you had?
Oh my gosh. Atlanta, I was not going to Atlanta. No, I did not even agree with the NBA's decision to hold All-Star Weekend in Atlanta. I'm like, if they wanted to keep everybody isolated, there are so many other cities that, have been following the rules a little bit better than the city of Atlanta. So I'm hoping that everybody that was there made it back safe, but I saw way too much footage of things that looked very germy. So I did not make my way there.
You gotta stay safe. Gotta stay healthy. It looked like it was
Yes.
pretty fun, but yeah,
I
And I'm
what I
fully
remember
vaccinated
seeing
here.
was the just the everybody bunched up when Quavo was beating Lil Baby and 2 Chainz.
Oh my gosh, yes, that
Yeah,
Bleacher
that was
Report
bad.
thing. Yeah, that was bad.
But hey, no, I thought I wasn't really surprised because like the Super Bowl still happened, right? In Tampa Bay, that was packed out. That stadium looked packed out
Oh
for the
yeah.
most part. And my mom saw that. She's like, they're really playing this year. They're like during the middle of the pandemic, and I was like, hey, like that is one thing that is not gonna stop.
No, all about the money.
Yeah.
Of course. So I wasn't really too surprised for the NBA for doing it because I was like, hey, if the NFL did it, like and it's only like a month after, right? Probably like almost exactly
Yeah.
a month after anyway. So I wasn't too shocked. But hey,
Now I am excited for baseball. I will say that. Baseball is my favorite sport, even though I work predominantly with football and basketball players. But to be able to get back outside at the baseball field, I cannot wait for that.
got it. Season, that's what, April, right?
So actually spring training already started, but yeah, opening day is coming soon.
Got it. Okay, all right. So I'm sure things will start picking up even more once that happens. And then you said for Hampton Roads Youth Foundation that what depending on the how the vaccines get rolled out, that'll happen in the summer.
Yeah, so we've already started planning for both virtual and hybrid situations.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that for certain events, maybe like our leadership symposium, we might be able to keep that virtual. But for camp, I'm crossing my fingers and making sure that, because it is possible to, for an outdoor event, to take all of the precautions necessary. And with the governor lifting some of the executive orders and mandates as far as capacity for outdoor events, I think we'll be able to have a good handle on it.
Got it. Hope that goes well. Definitely excited.
Yeah.
Definitely excited
Yes.
to see. All right. So then, on this final note, in honor of Women's History Month, um, I want to ask: do you have any role model or female role models, right? One or multiple, right? Do you have any models or people that you look up to, inspire you, and why?
I do. And, mine change on the daily as far as who I'm vibing with and my inspiration. But I would say right now, my favorite female, like boss woman that I just love watching her work and the way she handles everything is the new White House press secretary, Jen Psaki. She is just incredible when it comes to handling the reporters in the most nice, nasty, like factual way. And it's something that, we haven't had done professionally in a while. So it's very
About
refreshing.
4 years.
Eh, yeah, give or take.
About.
There's no bickering back and forth. There's no, Twitter arguments going on. She's professional, she's factual, and she's like, this is what, and she's actually a William and Mary alum. So she's just super, super amazing. And that is who I look to these past couple of weeks. That's who I've been looking up to.
Especially with the book rollout and everything going on. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Got it. Yeah. So, is there any last points?
No, I'm trying to pick her brain about a song she could give us. She's either been listening to, maybe it could be book related or just you know, something that speaks to what's going on right now with
You
you.
know what? When it comes to songs, I'm always late to the party. Like, I have not listened to Drake's new song. I think it's a freestyle, Lemon Pepper Freestyle or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't listened to it, but I will. But I would say, gosh, Levitating by Dua Lipa featuring DaBaby is like a very uplifting. It's pop, but it's very like uplifting. I listen to it first thing in the morning just to get me kind of going.
Got it. Add it to the playlist. All right, one more. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yes.
All right. So on that note, that wraps up today's episode. So thank you again for joining us today. And for people who want to buy the book, if they're interested, where can they find that? Where can they purchase? What's that information?
Yes. So they can go to Amazon.com and type in She Loves You Not. This is actually the only book with this title. So it pops right up.
Perfect.
Okay.
And or if you're like an ebook person, you can definitely go to Kindle. It's there. You can visit my Instagram at The Real JB, hit the link in my bio. That's ordering directly from me. Yeah, and I've been exploring doing Audible. A couple people have asked me about doing Audible, which is interesting. I'm like, gosh, could I listen to my voice for this long reading this book? But hey, I'm going to give the people what they want.
Sure.
We praying, you get a sequel, another one after that, and then a movie adaptation like To All the Boys I Ever Loved. Yep.
Yes. Oh, that was great. Yeah.
For sure. Definitely. Gotta put it in the air.
That's right. We're manifesting over here.
Facts. That's the word. But again, so on that note, make sure you check out her book. Make sure you support our lovely Jaylyn Brown. Make sure you support in us, right? Make sure you're following us on all social media, Instagram, everybodyeats.pod, on Twitter, EBE on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel so you are up to date with all our episodes, current events, regular episodes, all that good stuff that we have on there. So make sure you're there. And of course, you can listen to us anywhere you listen, stream, bump podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff, right? So until next time, make sure you guys are staying safe, staying healthy, and share with your friends. Don't be selfish. Everybody eats. See you guys.